A very good morning, dear children. How are you all? Dear students, I hope that you all have completed your second term exam very well. So, now we will start our Unit 7 in History, Chapter 8, Part 1st. That is about the women caste and reform. So, dear students, have you ever thought that of how children lived about 200 years ago? Nowadays, most girls from middle class families go to school and often study with boys also. So, on growing up, many of them go to colleges and universities and take up jobs after that. They have to be adults before they are legally married, and according to law, they can marry anyone they like from any caste and community, and widows can remarry too. All women, like all men, can vote and stand for elections. Of course, these rights are not actually enjoyed by all. Poor people have little or no access to education, and in many families, women cannot choose their husbands. So, 200 years ago, things were very different. Most children were married off at an early age. Both Hindu and Muslim men could marry more than one wife. In some parts of the country, widows were praised if they chose death by burning themselves on the funeral pyre of their husbands. Women who died in this manner, whether willingly or otherwise, were called sati, meaning virtuous women. Women's right to property were also restricted, and beside this, dear students, most women had virtually no access to education. In many parts of the country, people believed that if a woman was educated, she would become a widow. So, differences between men and women were not the only ones in society. In most regions, people were divided along lines of caste. Brahmins, Kshatriya considered themselves as the upper caste, and others such as traders and moneylenders, often referred to as Vaishyas, you can say, were placed after them. Then came peasants and artisans such as weavers and potters, that are referred to Shudras. So, at the lowest rank were those who labored to keep cities and villages clean or worked at jobs that upper caste considered polluting. That is, it could lead to the loss of the caste status. The upper caste also treated many of these groups at the bottom as, you can say, untouchables. They were not allowed to enter temples, draw water from the wells used by the upper caste, or bath in ponds where upper caste baths. They were seen as inferior human beings. So, over the 19th and the 20th century, many of these norms and properties slowly has been changed. Now, let us see what was happened at that time. So, first we will go through the life in 19th century. Dear students, in the 19th century, you can say from 1800 to 1900 CE, the lives of the people in India were very difficult from how we live today. Okay, so now let us compare the condition of the woman in the 19th century, that time, and now to the 21st century. Here is a picture in which you can say see the condition of the 19th century women. Most girls were married often at early age. Sati was a common practice. Women who committed sati were considered virtuous, and women were generally not educated due to superstitious beliefs. It was the conditions of the 19th century woman. But today, what are the changes? The practice of child marriage has been banned by law. The practice of sati has been banned by law. And the education is the fundamental right of all humans irrespective of their gender. So, this is the huge difference we can see in the lives of a woman. Dear students, besides women, people who belonged to the so-called lower castes also led very difficult lives. Now let us learn what was the lives of the so-called means lower caste people. Again we will see the differences between the 19th century and the 20th century's people. What was happened in the 19th century? The upper caste people considered the so-called lower caste people to be untouchables, and the members of the lower caste were not allowed to enter temples or use the same wells and ponds that are used by the upper caste peoples. But in 20th century, or you can say in 21st century, what has been changed? Untouchability is totally banned by law and is a punishable offence. The Constitution of India guarantees equal access to the public places to everyone irrespective of their caste, and discrimination based on caste is also punishable by laws. So dear students, revise these whole topic, that what was the conditions of a woman in the 19th century and what was the condition of women in today's life, you can say, and the lives of the so-called means low caste people. Okay, soon we will meet in the next session of this chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye.